Righto guys, welcome back. So, carry on with our tender. So hopefully this will be the third and final video for this. So, actually we might do the deck first, I think. Thought I'd actually show you guys. So some of these you will need to remove with, say, a cutting tool like a Dremel multi-tool or on a cutting disc, but quite often quite a few of them can just be taken off with a pair of side cutters, or actually just snapped off the sprue like on this bracket here. We lock the pliers onto it. I'll just zoom you right in here as it might be easier. So we're just going to move it. Well, that's going to be the easiest way for me to show you this, probably that way. So we're just going to move it back and forth over the top. And it should, there it goes. So there'll be a little bit of a tag in there that'll just need to be filed off. Try not to use a cutting tool or a multi-tool too close to these other parts, because you might gouge into them and then weaken them, or if not, ruin them. So just a pair of side cutters, a fair bit of pressure, a little bit of a wiggle, and there it goes. So we want that tag in there because that's going to go up into the bottom of the chassis. And then we've got our ladder. So we're just going to separate the butt end from the sprue. Now you could use your Dremel on those, because you're going to end up using both of these parts anyway. It's because they're both steps, so it doesn't matter if you cut that one off and it cuts into that part of the sprue. Just take it all the way off and put it in a bag with other separated parts of the locomotive. So we'll hit that now with the Dremel so you guys can see. And there will just be a little bit of a clean up on the top there, just to file that nice and flat, and then we can stick them on. So let's bag those up so we don't lose them. Separated parts, and then we'll put the sprue bits back in with the locomotive parts. So on this one, all we're going to take is the jack stand, the locomotive jack. We've already got an air hose. We don't need the couplers just now, and we've also got two of the short handrail knobs for the tender. So they're back there. We'll take out a handbrake. So again, we can do that with the Dremel, with the multi-tool. It's not a Dremel. Top corner of the Dremel. drop that into the bag as well. So here we have our little handbrake there, sits right down hard against the base, and it's enough to hold it in place. So if we just take our tender there, sit that where it needs to be, grab our foot plate, just sit that where it needs to be as well, and then that way we can work out. I'll zoom right in on that so you guys can see. Oh, come on, come down a bit, there we go. So that's basically going to be the right position because it's not hitting on anything. So there's a gap between that and the gap between the sidewall and the back wall on the tender for the handbrake. Zoom out a bit. Oh, that's zoomed in. Bloody hell. So we've got to drill a hole there and a hole there for the handrail. So now that we know that that's the position the handbrake needs to be in, we'll drop a little bit of glue in there. Actually, we'll just put it on here. And pop that at that same angle. Parts like that, you're happy to use super glue because there's nothing for that to get caught on and ripped off. So yeah, that's good. Put that to the side. I think what we'll do is we'll work from top down. So next thing we want to do is we want to find out of the bag is our tank brackets. That one and that one. And these sit right over top of the axle of the bolsters. And turn that around. So that'd sit right on the bolsters, and the tank would sit down right on them like that. So drop that one in place. Drop that one in place. And before that glue hardens, done. We're just going to sit that there. Sit that there. Right. Drill this out. Put in our tank toppers, solder from underneath. So we're looking at these ones here. I don't know, bring it in closer. So these here, that one and that one is what we want. Yep, just a little bit of an easement with where it is. Oh, that one's got a nice pointy end. Right, so a little bit of an easement in that. That one dropped straight in. Have a look at that. Spot on. And then solder them in from the bottom. Make sure they are completely square. Just like that, right. And get a little bit of flux on those. I'll just put a little bit more solder on there. So we get good flooding. Just put them there. So yeah, nice and soldered. They're not coming out of there, and they're nice and square. So now we're going to solder on these. Good little tack on this side. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to run a little bead across there. Well, actually we're going to run it, sorry. We're going to put some solder in through here, and then drill our holes in through the bottom for our handrails. And then we're going to fold these to shape, because these will stick down, and then we'll solder on the inside of those to give them some strength. Yeah, so that now looks like that. We're now going to fix it in place. Sweat some solder down into there. A little bit too much flux. gone right through. So, there we have it. Starting to really come together now. I like the look of these tenders, I think they look cool. And then we'll take this off again and we'll fold it, turn it upside down and drill from the underside with our 0.5mm drill bit and put in some handrails. Now I'm pretty sure there's supposed to also be, on the prototype, a handrail over here as well, which goes from there to there, there to there, because you've also got these handrails that'll go on this side. I'll set that to the side for now. Right, and we will carry on. We'll solder up, we'll file up the bottom of these and make them nice and flush and flat. So that would sit flat in there. Bring you guys in a little bit, show you what we're up to. So, I forgot to press record, but we've got another handrail there added to the top. Now we're going to do another one on the other side where those marks are. Broke my little 0.5 drill bit, so we'll come back to that. So yeah, that's now been fixed in place. We've already got a hole drilled for an LED. Right, so we'll put the drains in these holes here, both sides. And they go on a slight angle so that you can run your piping off them. There's one there. One on the other side. Little steps to go in. And they just sort of locate right in there, like so. We would clean them up before we install those. So we'll put the man guards on. That's what they call those, man guards. Interesting. Oh, wrong side. Oh, wrong end. So they sit like that. That's not very clear, is it? There we go. So we'll just allow them to dry. So when you look at the plan, and I'll just bring his off there. Seem to keep continuing to forget to press record. It's funny when you start these sort of things, you sort of forget that you've got a camera involved. But anyway, here's the tender. We're going to say that for now the tender is done. We've added the last handrails here on both sides. So yeah, so far so good. I'm thinking whether or not to add the control valve for the oil and things, because when you've got the fall plate between the cab and the tender, in a curve it'll hit onto that valve because it sticks out quite a wee way. So I'll wait until I've got the cab and the locomotive built, and I'll show you what I mean once it's sort of in there. But we're going to call that tender done. Just needs a couple of bits of piping and things from the bottom to the front and from the back to the front for the ear lines and things like that. So I think I'll wait to go back to that once we work out the any points that might hinder going around curves. So for now, that's the tender done.